what got you up every morning? What got you back on the hustle and saying, hey, I'm going to get back on the horse and I'm going to keep training and I'm going to keep pushing myself. And I know that, I can get to where I believe I can go. What was your mindset like, and what got you out of bed and kept you motivated during those times?
Mm. Man, early on when I had those losses, like I said, that first one was my post earlier approaching me and just saying, hey, keep going. You did great. It's all right. It's part of the sport, etc. That was the first time I dealt with it and I had somebody lift me up. I was like, cool. All right. I was upset for a few days too, sort of question, because when you have a big loss, you always question, it's like, hey, am I good enough? Is this good for you? Is this right? Whatever. Am I, you know what I mean? All that shit. It happens every time. But as you go through it, and again, I believe is because of martial arts and the people I have surrounded myself with, I have been able to also develop my mindset as far as, okay, you have two choices. You lost, yes. What went wrong? So you can either decide to give up and just like whine and cry about it, or you can decide to pick yourself up and decide to figure out what happened and change and see if you can do better next time. And with that philosophy and mindset, every single time it happened, I dealt with it better. So that first one, I was terrible. I was like, didn't even know how to deal with it. It was crying. It was terrible. Boom. Somebody lift me up. Okay. That imprinted in my mind. Okay. It's not like that. You can do better. You can do better. Great. Get older. Keep training. Get back in there. So it's having good people around you that will say it's not over. You're going to be back. You can do better. Believe in yourself, etc. That imprints in your minds, like people believing me. So that says something about what you're doing and your skills and your abilities. Obviously, when you have such a big loss like that, you start questioning things, and all of a sudden, you're not so sure. But when people kind of reinforce that and say, "Bro, you got it. It's just a bump in the road. Get back at it," and then you start getting stronger with the mindset and as far as how to deal with it. And so with each time, man, what did it for me was learning that this is part of it. Learning that with each loss, it's an opportunity to improve upon the things that you didn't do so well. With each loss, you learn something new about yourself, your human potential, your abilities as a person to take hardship, to take struggles, to go through it, get back up and do it again. So having good people around me and also searching for knowledge and how to deal with these losses and things and improve the mindset, etc. And just kind of rinse and repeat. It's like, okay, if I go through it again, I now know what happened last time. I can do better. So each time it got better, I got better at how to deal with it. And man, I just been on a mission since my last loss, which was previous to this last bout that I had. And I was out for like 18 months, and that was a huge fight. And we had Fight of the Year for that. It was my first time competing for a title. I had worked so motherfucking hard and came up short, and I was devastated. But I wasn't as devastated as I was the first time, because I understood it's like, hey, I put in this work. It's not because I didn't win, it's not over. What about all the skills that you've improved during the preparation? What about the people that you have influenced to do better whilst you were preparing and they were watching you, your nieces, your brother, your family, your mom, your girlfriend, these people around you, you inspire them every day. So I started paying attention to those things also, so it wasn't, so that's that moment in the beginning was all about me and just wanting to learn or whatever. But now it's about the influence that I can sort of put upon other people to do better themselves, etc. So every time that I fall and I get myself back up and learn how to keep moving forward and improve and come back, people go, wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure somebody out there, if they see it and they're dealing with a struggle or whatever, they can sort of get inspiration and draw inspiration from that, and hopefully moving forward themselves. So that thinking, as well as having other people around me and me just hungry to just keep trying to draw as much of my potential out as possible and see what I can do and how further I can get. All of those things is what gets me up every time to get back and get after it.
Sometimes it's such a brutal, not only a brutal sport, but just a brutal lifestyle, and sometimes such a mind fuck that you forget to kind of smell the flowers, and
Yes.
and actually look back and think, man, I'm feeling some type of way right now. But then when you look back and you're like, holy shit, look at the journey up to this point, and then you think like where you were at the beginning of it and where you are now, and then where you potentially could be from now to, further down the track. So I just think that itself is such an important lesson, and the fact that even you were talking a little bit about just the just the hurdles and the idea of like processing it and then being able to find something positive out of it, and being continuously motivated to keep going. I feel like that itself is it does become an addictive feeling too. Like just adversity, like I always say this even to people around me, like it sucks when it happens, it sucks when you're dealing with adversity, but it's such an addictive feeling when you get used to the idea that you can punch through that and come out the other side, and you'll know that you'll be so much more better than what you were before. And then it just becomes that addictive feeling, knowing that, hey, I'm going through some adversity now, I'm going through some hurdles now, but fuck, I'm in my element. I am where I'm meant to be, and I know that all this shit is just temporary, and I know all this shit is I'm gonna find a way over it. And when you become so used to that idea, man, you just become a dangerous person all around, because in so many facets of life, you know what I mean? Because you learn to realize I'm going through so much shit right now, like. But eventually think, and that could be with anything. Like I always tell people jokes about how many times I want to throw my computer out the fucking window when the podcast wasn't working when I first started, man, and it was like all this, and then eventually it's the same philosophy, man. Just keep doing it. You'll figure shit out, and then you kind of get better and better and better. And like, you go do your own research, figure out how can I get better? And, it's just, but that whole process and that whole idea that I can be better, and I know that it's just simple steps and consistency, comes from training, bro. It comes from being in the boxing gym,
100%,
because you realize not every day is a good day, but as the weeks go on, you're like, holy shit, I'm doing things that I never thought I was fucking impossible. That, like I used to watch and be at awe of things that people are doing that I could do now, and then it just becomes an addictive feeling, man. So I think it's really good how you kind of illustrated that and kind of, really articulated that, because it's such an important aspect that I think people, people don't really get to hear from people, from fighters, especially, or athletes, or anyone of that level. But what's a typical training week like for you, man? Like, I'm assuming there's like, strength and conditioning involved, and on top of that, like you got your jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, all that. What's like a typical training week for Diego Pereira?
Man, a typical week for me consists of, like you said, all aspects of the game. And my focus since the beginning has always been to try to develop my overall MMA game as well-rounded as possible, because I never, ever, ever want to feel like I'm leaving it stone unturned, if that makes sense. I am very methodical with my approach, and have developed since. And today I feel like I'm at my best as far as that, and I think it's been serving me well recently with, in all aspects of like being methodical and just making sure every single box is ticked, whether it's with work and emails, whatever. Where do I need to be? I have to be there, etc. Just knowing these things prior and just making sure I'm on top of everything. So like, I'll Monday, because I am a coach as well, BJJ coach, and I take private lessons, etc. Just kind of, and I also work. So Monday morning, I'll go to the gym. Like first I wake up, I just kind of run through my breathing and stuff. I just run a mental program, things like that, visualization, stuff like that I've been doing. And then I get to the gym. I do my strength and conditioning. do some cardio after. So it's about a 2-hour session. If I have some time, also get in the sauna. And then I go to my casual gig that I run. I'm a warehouse manager a few days a week. So I go do a few hours of that. And then right after, I go to the gym to coach BJJ. So I coach gi Monday afternoon, gi jiu-jitsu. So I run that class, do some drills as well within the class. Then I go home after I get home, eat some food, whatever, just hang out for a bit. And then later I go back to the gym to train jiu-jitsu myself within the gi. So I go back to the gym to train with my head coach and stuff. And that's a Monday, just rest, etc. And then Tuesday, similar to a Monday, I either go see the physio or I'm at the warehouse just running some errands. And then later in the afternoon, from 5 till about 9 is all training. So 5 o'clock till about 6:30, I'm just doing pad work, kickboxing with my coach, Uncle Des. Right after that, we get into the MMA practice. So we're practicing no-gi jiu-jitsu, doing drills, etc. Whatever Coach Paul has planned for the day. Then we do cage work, etc. And we finish that around 9:30. After that, stretch out, whatever, get home. And then that's my training day. Wednesday, similar. Wednesday, it's a bit more chill. I do strength and conditioning again, running the second day of the week, cardio, whatever, and then stretch out. And I just keep it at one session that Wednesday so that I can recover. And then Thursday, similar to Tuesday, working, etc., coaching. I coach wrestling in the afternoon and then go back to the gym at 5 to 9 and do similar to Tuesday. Friday, same thing. Wake up in the morning, go do some cardio, etc., and then work if I have some errands to run at the warehouse, and then go to coach BJJ, no-gi, jiu-jitsu. And depending on how I feel that day, I might go back and do some more jiu-jitsu. But as of recent, we've been keeping the Friday a bit lighter because on Saturdays we spar, so we want to be fresh for that.
Fresh for it, yeah.
Yeah. So on the Saturday, and within the week, I coach 2 or 3 private lessons with some friends, and then Saturday morning I coach another private lesson, and then from there I come home, then go to sparring session at 1 p.m. and then we usually spar for a couple hours, running different scenarios, starting from different positions, etc. And that's a training week for me, man. And
Structure, bro.
Within that, I try to kind of listen to my body to allow it to recover as much as possible. So I'm not constantly just hammering. You're trying to go as hard as I can every single day. I try to, like I said, through research and learning and having good people around me, I have learned to know when to push, when to pull back, etc. And so I think it's a hectic schedule when I put it all together and I count the hours. It comes up to like 20 plus hours a week of just straight training, man. But I've been able in the last few months to maintain it, and I feel amazing. I feel very, very good. So that's a typical training week for me.
I guess it's the importance of all the little things. I mean, I'm assuming recovery is such a big part of it as well. I know you touched on the sauna and I guess a few other things. I'm assuming that you probably do for recovery. Is there anything in particular at all, or is it just a mix of? I would assume it's a mix of everything with supplements and things like that. That
definitely
kind of gets you firing on all cylinders. Yeah,
definitely. I do. Nutrition is a big part of it, and I learned that. I'm super grateful and work with one of the best in that to guide me, the fight dietitian. Shout out to the fight dietitian.
Yeah, Jordy. Yeah. I've had him on
TikTok, and TikTok nutrition. So these guys help me a lot. And nutrition has been key, and understanding and sleep. Of course, sleep. Gotta prioritize that, because if you don't sleep well, you can have the most sophisticated recovery process in the world. But if you're not sleeping, you're not gonna recover. That's when things actually do improve. All the work you've done, it's whilst you sleep that all that's being absorbed by the body, etc. So together with that, man, I do cold showers a lot. I'm in the process of working towards getting a little portable ice
bath kind of thing.
Ice bath thing. So I'm gonna start doing more of that. But cold showers every single day, doing breath work helps me a lot. and trying to visualize. Meditation helps a lot as well, and stretching as much as possible. Stretching, doing yoga every other, like on a Wednesday, which is one of the lighter days, I'll do one session and then do some yoga. It's constantly trying to stretch and move and breathe and just keep the body mobile and flexible. And whenever I'm feeling extra sore, extra tired, and if I have a particular hard session planned for that day, I won't do it as hard, or I might not do it at all. I'll pull back, do something else, shadow, or just visualize, or something like that. And I think doing those things has been paramount in keeping my body healthy and recovering.
What's your diet like? You mentioned Fight Dash, and I know I actually had Jordan on not long ago, and know him quite well through our chats and stuff. And I actually was cracking a joke to him about it. I was like, man, all the fighters that I like, because I know a lot of guys that are he's obviously his clients, the fighters that are that work with him. And I was telling him, I'm like, man, every single person I talk to just can't believe like how well they're eating and still manage to make weight. And it's a whole nother ball game, eh, bro? When you have someone to be able to say exactly how much you need and have to worry about it, and to a scientific level, being able to analyze and being able to know exactly what you need in order for you to be able to turn up to training and do what you do every day, and not just training, just everyday living and lifestyle as well, right? Because it's something that Jordan touched on, was just energy expenditure that you're burning when you're not training, even, you know what I mean? Like you said, you go to work, you do all these other things. So like, what's the diet been like for you, and what is diet like? What is your diet like?
Man, like you said it best. Like, working with Jordy, and what's funny is like I've been working with him before he was the fight dietitian, before he had developed his company and stuff. We have a funny joke where myself and a couple other guys were in the beginning like lab rats for him, and so working with him for years, man, I have acquired so much knowledge about nutrition and understanding of what to eat and what certain things make my body feel like and what's best for me, etc. And understanding that has been huge to maintaining weight and maintaining a good weight and having the energy to perform each and every session, and hydration and the importance of that, and now having Train Aid as well, which is one of the hydration formulas that the Fight Dietitian together with my manager Dean Barnes have developed. This thing has been I've actually
told Jordy I plan to grab it. I actually messaged him last week, and he flicked me the website, so I want to try it. I've heard good things about it.
Man, it's been amazing. It's like it's revolutionized the scene, especially when it comes to weight cuts. These guys doing huge weight cuts. It's just been very, very good to rehydrate and get back to feeling normal again, when you do cuts. But getting back to your question as far as my diet and nutrition, what it's like, man, I during camp, I work with TikTok Nutrition and the Fight Dietitian, and they so like Jordy's constantly like at each week he's like, how's the weight? And he asks me how I'm feeling. If I have any questions, he answers those as far as like, okay, how you feeling, etc. What should I eat? When should I eat it? And then he also gives me the flexibility to kind of eat what I want, but because I have the understanding of what I should and shouldn't eat at certain times, but like my main meals are all done by TikTok Nutrition. So my lunch, dinner, it's all set. So it comes in every week, so I don't have to worry about it. So I know like Monday, it's like meal one. Okay, just pop it in the microwave and I eat it. Sometimes it may consist of brown rice, chicken, vegetables, your standard diet related stuff. But it's so much good stuff, like in different variety as well, that makes me feel like I'm not even dieting, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't even understand that concept of diet, to be honest. Like, I'm not ever dieting for any particular reason other than sometimes I may need to trim down a little bit, get leaner, but throughout the year, like, I have developed the discipline and the lifestyle to just consistently keep
Maintain
my
it.
weight.
Yeah.
My weight
Yeah.
at a healthy, good weight where my body is healthy.
Yeah.
I never allow myself to blow up to like exponentially and be like, oh shit, I don't know what happened. I was just eating so much and didn't train for like 3 or 4 weeks. I don't even understand guys that do that, you know? Like this is what I do, you know? This is just what I do. I train, I coach, I eat good, I drink good, I have good people. That's just what I do. So it's a lifestyle, you know, and having developed that lifestyle makes it much easier to keep nutrition and weight in check, things like that, you know. So it's not even a concern for me. Weight is not even a concern for me. So the diet has become a lifestyle, to be honest. So eating these things is just part of my daily life. So it's very good, man. I'm very happy.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, it's just such a big aspect, and it's great the way you said it as well with the diet. It's not so much of dieting. You're feeding your body. You're just fueling your body with what it needs, right, to maintain it. So, you talked a little bit about your visualization and all that. And I'm a big guy in that, man. So I couldn't wait to ask you this question. Yeah, because I'm big with those kind of things. Just talking things to existence and meditation and all that. I'm so big on it. So I was so excited to ask you this question. So, because the gym aspect is one thing, going and training, drilling skills, all those things are one aspect, but there's a whole other aspect to get, and we touched on it, just, a little bit about how you get out of bed and in your mindset. So, what is your mindset like, and what are some of the things that you do practice outside of the gym that helps you develop and keeps you, I guess keeps you engaged on your mission? Like, and I know you touched on meditation and stuff. Like, talk a little bit about that and how those kind of practices have really helped you and not just in training, but you would know, bro, just everyday living and everyday life touch on that a little bit and how that's helped you.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it started like throughout the years. I just kind of, as you get more and more into the scene, you start hearing about it. Yeah, mindset is everything. The mental is 90%, the other aspects 10. But you don't really get it until you start searching and trying to find your own answers and figure things out for yourself, etc. And it wasn't until my coach, Uncle Des, he gifted me with this book called With Winning in Mind by Lenny Basham. Have you heard of this book?
No, I haven't. No. Good book, man. Yeah.
It's an amazing book. It has been, number one bestseller for it's been released for a few years now, but it's number one bestseller for a long time. It's called With Winning in Mind. And the first time I heard of this book was through the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
And
I got a whole bunch of books here that I've written down. I want to buy, so I'm just gonna write it down, man. So don't mind me. Keep going. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So through the Joe Rogan podcast, he had a guest on. You may know him, Coach Faraz Sahabi.
Yeah, Faraz Sahabi. Yeah. GSP's coach.
Sahabi, yeah. He was on Joe Rogan, and they were talking about this mental stuff, and he mentioned this book. He's like, man, a great book for this stuff is With Winning in Mind by Lenny Basham. I had heard it before my coach gifted it to me, and I was like, I'm gonna get this damn book. And I don't know what happened. I think I got caught up doing something else and I forgot. And then boom. And then later, my coach gifted me with this book. He's like, bro, I got this book. I want you to read it. It's great. And then I see the book and immediately I think back, it's like, oh shit, I heard about this book. And what's funny, like I didn't get the book, but now here's my coach giving me this book. Something about that. So I get the book, I get home, and this was like in a perfect moment as well, because it was after that big loss that I had where I was out for 18 months. I suffered a broken jaw. I was devastated. I was extremely, extremely hungry to want to do better and understand what the hell happened, because I knew it wasn't a skill thing. It wasn't a skill. It wasn't a lack of athletic ability. It wasn't lack of conditioning. It was something that I wasn't being able to control, so I had to understand that. And when my coach gifted me that book, man, it was a catalyst to me going on to dedicate more and more time to the mindset and the mental stuff. And reading that book, I learned things like positive affirmation, how you have to like daily, if like whatever your goal is, you have to daily kind of speak it. We have to like, so after, like, to give you an example, after learning about this positive affirmation aspect, I developed these little cards, and I have spread it like in my bathroom mirror, in my bedroom door, refrigerator, every single spot in my place where I know that I go every single day, like to make coffee in the kitchen, bathroom, of course, bedroom, where I will see these things daily. And each time I come to it, I come to a stop, and I have to read my affirmation out loud and visualize it every single time I come to the spot. So as you can imagine, every single time I come to it. So the idea that the author talks about is, by doing this, you're building your self-image, right? So because if you don't believe, say for me, my goal is to be the champion. So in multiple weight categories simultaneously. So I have written these positive affirmations. So each time I'm speaking, I am in the first person, I am the champion. I do this every day because X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So every time I'm carrying myself as a champion, I wake up, I see that thing, I have to say, I am the Eternal MMA Bantamweight and Featherweight champion. I read and visualize my positive affirmations daily. I am the Eternal MMA Bantamweight and Featherweight champion, because currently that's what my goal is. And so every single time I come to these spots, like I'm being just constantly, my mind is constantly flooded with that notion. So you can't help but believe in the self-image. Like ever since doing it, it's been like 6 solid months of just boom, 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 constantly, every single day. Actually more than 6, it's been like almost a year now. And it's been amazing, bro, because like I said, I already had all the skills. I already have all the athletic abilities and all that. I already work extremely hard. So that was not the issue. The issue was me understanding that if you don't have the knowledge to control your emotions when it comes to performance time, like you got to get out there, you got to perform. Okay, you got all the skills now, you got to get out there and do your shit. When it comes down to it, you've competed before, you know what it's like. You have all these emotions running through your body, the crowd, the noise,
the adrenaline's pumping in.
You have built, all
Yeah.
these things can cloud your brain and your focus. So if you don't know how to deal with that, that's going to immediately take away from your performance. And that's what I didn't know. So after reading this book and later finding other things, the breathing later came, and that's been freaking paramount as well, and it's been huge. But yeah, man, mainly those things, like the positive affirmation has been a huge one, because it's built my self-image, and now every single day it's like I carry myself as a champ. I don't have that damn championship belt, but you can't tell me I'm not the champion, because I am the champion. I work, I do the things that are required. I wake up every single day and I get after it, and I believe to the core that I am the current champion. And so with that sort of self-image, every single time I'm in the training room, I'm practicing things and other methods as well that are within this book that I strongly encourage you to get it, man. You understand what I'm saying? There are different methods, things like just to constantly build your self-image. It's like after every single say successful attempt at doing a drill or a new technique or something, immediately I'm going in my head, I go, yes, that's like me. That's something that the guy talks about in the book. You have to positive, affirm, and reassure immediately. And in that act, as soon as you perform, say you learn a new combination and you pull it off how it's supposed to be, you immediately go, boom, that's like me. That's like me to do that. Why? Because it's just what I do. You know what I mean? It's like me to win. It's like me to go out there and do the technique as it is required, as the coach showed, or as it's supposed to be performed, something like that. And so every single time you reaffirm, you're reassuring when you're learning a skill or when you do something well, like in my last performance, it was a great performance. And so immediately, like, you want to imprint those things in your mind so that you can try to recreate it every single time, So I've learned that focusing, for example, the visualization is a daily thing. The breathing is a daily thing throughout camp. So when I get to the show, to the event, I have to stay on that visualization. I have to stay on that mindset and focus, because like I said, if I get to the show and all of a sudden I'm not focusing on the task at hand or the visualization or whatever I have been visualizing, and I get there and I just let myself, because you get to a show, there's plenty of people around, there's crowds, there's other fights, there's people in the training room. So if all of a sudden you start chatting about other irrelevant stuff and doing mindless things that are not related to the task at hand, which is to perform, and you start focusing on just other things, that's energy that's being wasted elsewhere, and that's where your focus is going. By the time you actually get in the cage and you're about to go, like you're not focused, you're not focused. No wonder, like I was doing all those things before and I didn't understand. It's like, no wonder you're not performing to your ability, because you're not focused. Like you lost the focus because you started chatting about all this shit, like because you want to be nice, you want to hang out with people, you want to do all those things. But I learned that you can do that, but also you have to set aside a time for you to stay within and get back to the visualization and the focus. And I do like a little breathing specific thing, like I have been doing every single day. And that immediately just recenters and refocuses me. And right up until we touch gloves, I am running that mental program in my head, not letting my focus go anywhere. I don't even look at the announcer, I'm just focused within at the task, breathing, making sure I'm maintaining my emotions, my heart rate at a certain level, so that when it comes time to it, I will not be shook up by adrenaline, I'll have everything under control. And that's my last performance, and I think I was very, very proud at how I was able to put it all together. And other people was as well. So that's a big indicator that everything I'm doing and the changes I've made have been successful. So that's just one of the things,
Yeah. And it seems like, and you'd know if it's working for you as well. And it's crazy because, man, it's like such a, I know that so many people do affirmations and so many people meditate and visualize and especially, like you said, the breathing, which is, but to this day, sometimes it's almost seen as a gimmicky thing, but it's not till you do it you realize how much you can reap the rewards from all those little different aspects. It's like, I tell people, even if it's for 5 minutes, you get up and just quiet your mind, focus on your breathing and meditate, your whole day just completely fucking changes. You know what I mean?
100%.
And even if there is hurdles and even if there is certain challenges, you just deal with it so much more better. You learn to deal with it so much more better. So it's so good to hear that, because it's crazy, because it's like if the whole world collectively fucking meditated, and you know what I mean? It's just a whole nother level of energy that's just, which is something I'm so big on. And, I'm a big energy person and things like that. So it's so good to hear it in that sense, because it is seen as a gimmick to some when people say, oh, I made it, whatever, but it's not until you really practice it and you really understand the connection between the breathing and your mind and the visualization and the affirmations and it's almost like a mantra, bro. It's a mantra that you're just telling yourself over and over again, that you convince yourself and you convince your body and your mind that this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do, and it's such a big aspect, and it's so good. It's so good also because you broke it down how it was not skills. It wasn't the lack of training. It wasn't your commitment to training, but there's so many other components that people just don't realize that makes up a whole of who you are, right, as a fighter. So what's some of your ambitions and goals, man? I know you got this the Bantamweight title fight coming up. Is there aspirations that go beyond that? Like, what are some of your, I guess, your goals and your ambitions moving forward?
Man, locally, my ambition is to become the double champion simultaneously at Eternal Mixed Martial Arts, which I'm about to accomplish within a year. I mean, I'm getting the first title within 6 weeks. I'm going to close out the year the Bantamweight champion. I am fiending to get a rematch with the current Featherweight champion, whom, like I mentioned earlier, is the guy we originally competed for the vacant Featherweight championship back in March 2020, where we produced Fight of the Year for that. So I want that rematch very, very badly. So that's what I'm gunning for, and I'm gonna call out for that. And I'm sure he's gonna want to do that fight again, because I have no doubt he made tremendous growth from that fight as well. So I'm closing out the year the bantamweight champion. By mid next year, I've got 2 titles on my back, featherweight and bantamweight champion, and that will be my current goals accomplished, man. And after that, like they can't deny me. They can't deny me internationally. The either Contender Series or the UFC, because ultimately I want to become.
That's where you want to go. Yeah,
get in the UFC and compete. And no, I want to be in the world league, if you want to put it that way. I want to be in the world league. I want to showcase my skills in the world league. I want to be seen. I want to perform. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. I want to be seen by as many eyes as possible, and I want to be able to do what I do on a world scale, and have the potential to influence other people to change their lives as well, and improve and do better, and just keep grinding and get after it, whatever they're doing. So ultimately, I want to get in the world league, which is the UFC, and I wanna turn some heads over there as well. So that's within a couple of years for sure.
Yeah, man. Feel like we could talk on and on, man. I think the only difference is we're not actually under the same roof. But man, I really appreciate you giving me a time, man. I was quite excited to talk to you, because just from your personality and just your energy, I just knew what I was gonna get, man. And I wish you nothing but the best, bro. I'll be rooting for you, and I'll be closely watching 6 weeks time, I think you were saying, in 6 weeks time.
November 20th, Eternal MMA 63, November 20th, GC co-main event, baby. We're out here. We're closing the year out with a bang.
Beautiful. And in Gold Coast too, man. What better place to do it as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And it's at a place where I've
familiar with
many, outstanding like highlights, and I am seeing this one to just be another. So I can't wait. I'm very excited. Yeah. And I want to thank you as well, man. I appreciate the time and you reaching out to and like same words you just said. Like I can say the same to you. I when you reached out, I looked into your stuff and I was like, man, no brainer. The guy is a martial artist himself. He understands it. He gets after it, and he's out here giving people like myself and others the platform and a way to get their word out, get their thing out, and share their vision and things like that. And that's tremendous, bro. That's tremendous.
It was important for me, man. And that's why it's called Into the Deep podcast, because it was important for me, because I found martial arts, like many, from a bad place, and it changed my life. And then I got to be in there with the trenches and see all my mates were professional athletes putting in the work, and not only that, training with them and doing everything. I always say my job was the easiest job, because the bar was so high that all I had to do was follow. You know what I mean? All I had to do was follow. When your bar is so high, it's so easy, right? Because you just follow. You follow the person in front of you. So that's where I kind of got inspired from it. And this is just obviously one aspect. Hopefully one day, obviously I'm trying to build a pop culture sport, a brand. And I do have a series which I did with one of the professional boxers, athletes, called Inside the Trenches. We're similar to UFC Embedded, but for Australian, mixed martial arts and athletes in general of all. So hopefully, when we get to that level, I'll be able to, actually fly to Brizzy maybe and jump in one of your camps and be able to actually, get to all that stuff. So and that was the idea with the podcast, man. It was important for me, and with no belt or anything to show for it, I wanted to champion it the way that I felt like I could do it the best. And that was to, I wanted people to hear and see the stories and understand the stories and the journeys that I got to understand and experience myself, but also got to understand and feel being there, live, and amongst these people. And that's where it kind of got inspired. Was I've always been fascinated by people's mental psyche as well, just how their brain works and how they think, and it's always fascinated me, and then I guess that's how it kind of inspired. And ultimately, I want to, I guess, taking your word, I will have a library of of so many fighters in Australia, and it would be something that that fighters can come on and and be able to express and share their journey, so that people that are watching it can realize that, be inspired by it, and also appreciate what they're watching, you know, and the stories that they're hearing. So no, it was big for me, man, and I'm glad. I really felt like, for someone that I just literally met, like, even just your stories, early days, it was so authentic, man, and it was so real, just the way you spoke about some of the hardships and the losses, and just what it did to you, and that's the kind of shit I love, because it's raw, it's real, you know, and I think behind all the facade that people see, you know, the end result, they don't see the in between, which is the most fucking important thing out of it all, man, you know. So
Exactly.
you know, and so there, it was important for me to build this platform dedicated for that mission, you know. So no, I appreciate it, bro, and something tells me this won't be the only chat we ever have, and hopefully when you know, well, not hopefully, when you are double champ, we'll get back, and you know, the shoulders won't be empty, bro. You'll have either on either side, and yeah, that's it. You might have to, it might be, you know, you might get a bit heavy, man, for the time that we talk, but man, I you know, offline, man, I would love to, you know, do things. I'm always trying to do different content with fighters to just give them, you know, face, whether it's, you know, picking UFC fights and things like that, and creating content in that way. So talking to you, I've already, you know, I have like 100 things going through my head at one time, man. So I've already got a few things in my head I would love to talk to you about, you know, post fight, focus on you know, focus on the next 6 weeks, and get the job done. And then we'll see what's what. But no, I really appreciate you. Appreciate you giving your time, bro. And I wish you nothing but the best. I really do. And I'll definitely will be rooting for you, bro. So you know, yeah, you know, just go get the job done, man. And yeah, you know, I really appreciate you just opening up and talking about a lot of candid things as well. You know, it's not easy to do, and I really do appreciate it, bro.
Man, thank you so much for the time, and you are an inspiration, bro. Keep doing your thing, and keep going into the deep and digging deep.
Yeah, for sure, my man.
We'll get the job done, and I'm sure we'll talk again, brother.
Appreciate you, my bro. Thank you, man.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks.